Hello everyone and welcome to the next gen version of Drag Kings of Los Santos. This has been shown on my channel before, but I haven't actually done a proper content creator video about it. And as you can see, the start grid looks very hectic. That's because that's 30 players all lined up. I think that's in a 5 by whatever it is formation, 5 by 6. So it's very hectic, and that's the kind of idea that I wanted to go for with this track. So this track is actually the very first track that I ever created on GTA Online. It was created on the day that the content creator was released, published. A video was uploaded as well on the very same day, and it hasn't changed since then, apart from a few small minor differences. But in general, it hasn't changed, and it's basically just a fun track. It's not meant to be a serious race track. It's meant for a bit of fun. That's why the start line is all hectic, and that's why we've had some really fun and interesting races put up on this channel on this track, because it's all geared towards that sort of thing. So as you can see, it's basically two long straights, and at one end is a loop, and at the other end is a hairpin. So it's got some of the new tyre barriers just to block off certain areas. But yeah, this looping section is kind of the main feature of the track. How you end up with cars, they're all sorts of all around in different places, and then you just come back down the other straight, and then there's a hairpin at the end. Now this was always based on the old Drag Kings track from GTA 4. And I used to really enjoy that track. It didn't have a loop on it, but it kind of had the similar sort of feel, and that's kind of where I got the initial idea and the name as well. So Drag Kings from GTA 4, I used to race quite a lot on GTA 4. That's where this comes from. And as you can see there, I've got some of the new tyres at the end there, just to make sure anybody who sort of misses the hairpin doesn't go too far and off into the distance. So yeah, it's now 30 players. Obviously, we've seen some 30 player races on this track before on this channel, because this was, I made sure to get it uploaded and changed to 30 players as soon as I realized it was going to be quite fun. But as I said, the looping section here is the main attraction of it. That's where all of the action really happens, and there's no lampposts that are blocked off. Everything is as natural as it can be, and that's the way I intend it to be. Obviously, as you can see there, that's quite a hectic grid in this formation, but it just makes before it used to be a sort of a 2 by 2 formation, and that just made it a little bit too long for a fun race like this. It is meant to be a bit of fun. It's not meant to be serious, so it's worth just packing everyone together as closely as possible and just seeing what happens, really. And I can't wait to sort of see 30 players all going towards that first corner after being in that sort of start grid formation. So yeah, obviously the race that you're seeing is just a random race where I actually come back through the pack and then mess up. But yeah, you'll just see sort of some of the incidents that you can get up to with this track. And as I was saying, nothing is blocked off. No areas are blocked off that you can't go on. There's no lampposts that are blocked off, and that's by design. I want this to be a fun circuit where you can have issues and sort of get involved in crashes like this, for example, and the smart guy on the right hand side there took the other lane. I want it to be a track like that, where you can do different things like that and have different experiences that are sort of, it's not meant to be a serious race, and that's kind of, with it being the first track that I ever made, it does hold a special place in my heart, and it always historically used to be sort of the first race that I would do for subscriber lobbies and things like that. It was kind of just the sort of the go-to race for when you've got a lot of people, and I think that's going to remain the same. You can always do a Los Santos Grand Prix race with 30 people or a North Loop, but people tend to take it a little bit more seriously, and if they get knocked off or something like that, they get a little bit annoyed, because it feels more like a proper race when it's on a track like that. When it's on a track like this, it isn't a proper race. It is just a bit of fun. You don't want to see anybody going backwards or trolling or anything like that, but in general, it's just meant to have a bit of fun. And if you get knocked off, or you come a cropper on a lamppost or something like that, it's not that big of a deal. It's meant to be very short, very quick laps, do a lot of laps on it, see if people at the front can lap other people, get involved in trying to do your best with avoiding the traffic coming out of the loop and all that kind of stuff, as you saw there. and that's what it's meant to be, and that's why it sort of holds a special place in my heart, really, because with it being the first track that I made, and with it having this different sort of focus away from serious racing, it's just something a little bit different, and it's certainly produced quite some interesting races in the past. And I've also got one bit of footage to show you guys that I'll be uploading at some point in the future, where I do a pretty crazy comeback on this track, from being sort of dead and buried really on a 10-lap race. So it produces moments like that. It produces really interesting moments, sort of people crashing, people flying off all over the place, people coming back through the pack, getting knocked off, or meeting up with people in different areas. It produces all of that stuff, and because of that, it's just one of the more entertaining tracks in my opinion, and that's why I really like it. So obviously, you know, as I mentioned in the previous content creator video, I've got a link in the description which shows you basically all of my tracks. So it takes you to a post where all of my tracks are. Have a look for Drag Kings of Los Santos, then you can download this to your game, and we'll be all good to go. This is obviously available on the PS4, and the originals will be available on 360 and PS3 as well, but I'm not entirely sure about the Xbox One version yet. I'm not sure if anyone will want to make it. It isn't a serious race. It's not one of my main ones. It's more just for a bit of fun. But if you want to have that, then by all means go for it. And as you can see here, you know, I've caught up to a few people in front of me, and yeah, it's got a nice flow to it, and a little bit of interesting trivia. This whole section that you're watching right now is how the Los Santos Grand Prix used to run. So it used to sort of come along that section and turn right and then right again. That's come directly from Los Santos Grand Prix, and that really got its idea from this track. So this track was kind of, I guess you could say, the start of the entire Los Santos Grand Prix circuit. You know, it kind of spawned that whole idea, and that's where it came from. So there's a lot to like about this track. You know, there's a lot to thank it for. And if you like any of my other tracks, really, this was where it all started, really, for me and the race creator on GTA. So yeah, I hope you give the track a go, and I hope to see you sort of when I'm streaming. I'll probably always do this track and try to get as many people as possible. And if you are racing in it, just remember that it is more of a fun race. Don't get angry or anything like that if you get knocked off, or obviously, you know, if it's on purpose, then you by all means get angry. But if it's just, you know, you hit a lamppost or something like that, just remember that it's not meant to be a serious race. And as you can see there, I messed up big time after doing so well to come back and get it a second, so I decided to sort of get some action shots of the last corner. So yeah, it's certainly one of my favourite tracks, this one. I think I forgot to mention in the previous episode, but the North Loop is probably my favourite track in the entire game. Now I know I'm a little bit biased because I created it, but in terms of what it looks like, how it feels to race, it's probably my favourite track, with the Los Santos Grand Prix in a close second. So this is definitely holds a special place in my heart, this track. It was where it all started for me in terms of making tracks, and I hope that you guys really sort of enjoy it and have a lot of fun times on it, and look forward to some interesting videos that we're going to be having on this track coming up soon as well. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Remember to click the link in the description to be taken to all of my tracks. I really appreciate your support as always, and I'll see you next time. I cannot believe this. I still can't get over that there's 29 people currently racing on this track right now. That is a lot of people.